Welcome to the Makeshift podcast. This is podcast number 14. It's a big one. We got Lucas Stein as our guest today. Lucas, how you doing, man?
Hey guys, doing good, man. Doing good. How about you guys?
We are wonderful. Always fantastic. Lucas is outside today. Beautiful day in New Jersey. I think we turned the corner in weather. I think it's only warm from here on out. I'm excited
100%.
for it.
I know. I looked at the weather and it's like 70 degrees every single day for the next 2 weeks or the next 10 days. And it's amazing. All right, let's get right into it here. Lucas, you're a diehard Sixers fan. Are you wearing a Sixers shirt right now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you are. All right, diehard Sixers fan. Today, at the time of recording, I think, was it announced today that Jokic was MVP or was it last night?
I woke up to it, so I think it was like 8 a.m. this morning, but
That's
not
what I
100% sure.
An early one.
That's what I thought. Very random time to announce an MVP at 8 a.m. on a Monday morning. Lucas, what's your take on it? I know you're a little salty about it.
So, as a Sixers fan, obviously, I think Embiid's by far the best player in the league. But I was looking today because I knew I was coming on after you texted me, and I was trying to find ways I could possibly say Embiid should have won it over Jokic. But I got to say, after looking at the stats, Jokic is a beast. I mean, that man can ball. And Denver, they had a good season. And, the Sixers had a good season. And the only thing I'll say about the MVP award is the Sixers without Embiid are noticeably a different team. I mean, you take Embiid out of the picture, and a lot of people say they didn't have a shot against Miami. And now Embiid's back in the picture. And I think they've been favorited 2 straight games. So, as a Sixers fan, it's tough, especially with Embiid being the scoring champion this year. But I got to give it to that man, Jokic. He can ball. And 2 years in a row, Embiid being the front runner. But I give him a lot of credit.
So I have a question, a little kind of sidetrack. This is for both of you here. For the scoring title, I saw this on a TikTok the other day or like a couple weeks ago. Do you guys think that the scoring title should be like the highest average, or should it just be the total combined points that someone scores? Because if you take into consideration every other sport where it's like the all-time goal leader, it's not goals per game. It's not hits per game. It's your total hits. It's your total points in hockey. Do you think it should be career average or season average or total points? Because the total points was Trae Young, I think.
I think total points gives you a little bit more of a look into how healthy the player was all year. Averages in basketball are like funny because, I would say that it is meaningful. It tells you the per game average. If you miss a few games, if there's games of rest, then you kind of have to take that into account. But I like the total points approach. I don't think it's a bad approach. I would argue for both. I wouldn't go one or the other.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that idea, Zach. I'd say both is a good idea. I saw another one too, which awarded the player which participated in the most games throughout the year. So not necessarily points, not necessarily anything, just, your, I guess, durability, your ability to show up day in, day out. And I thought that one was pretty good.
Who hasn't, was it McCall Bridges? I'm definitely saying his name wrong. McCall?
I think he's missed the game.
Yeah, he hasn't missed a game in like a few years or something. He's like Mr. Durability, like plays every single game. I think that's like the Iron Man for Cal Ripken Jr. in baseball. It's like playing a certain amount of games in a row. Eli Manning for the Giants.
Oh yeah, Eli Manning.
What intrigued me about that one is, so I'm a Sixers fan, and I went to go see the Lakers when they played in Philadelphia this year. And I got to Philadelphia about 3 hours early, only to find out that, LeBron's out of the game. Obviously ticket prices were a little bit more than they normally would be for a Wednesday night game, but it is what it is. And he was actually injured, but how many times do you see players taking a rest day? And, that poor mom who spent $300-400 on tickets, get to go see their hero, and they're not even playing. So I like that idea of rewarding the player who, participated in the most games.
Even if they only play like a couple minutes, I don't know. Like if LeBron played the first quarter of that game and then didn't play for the rest of the game, like you'd still be happy that you saw him rather than having him rest and sit out the entire game, not even seeing him warm up. He's on the sidelines in street clothes, It's like just to give some minutes, get in there, and like it's going to affect the average, and maybe that's why we go towards the total points in terms of weighing a player for the season.
Yeah. So the only argument against Joel last year, or their main argument at least, was that he missed too many games. And this season he fixed that problem. He played the most games in his entire career. So, I mean, it is debatable, but you look at Jokic's stats. I mean, just to read them off: 27.1 points per game, 58% from the field, 13 rebounds, 7.9 assists per game. And that's just unreal, especially for a big man. I mean, it's crazy, but gets me to my point. Who do you guys think has had the greatest NBA MVP season that you've seen to date? And that's a tough question because it's hard to just pull it off the top of your head. But I think that the first person that people go to is D Rose.
I would go Steph Curry when he won the unanimous MVP. I think he shot 45% from three that year. He was over 50% from the field. He probably set the record that season for most threes in a season, which he broke the following year. And he was just, I think he averaged close to 30 a game. And I think the Warriors were just a different team then. And they were probably still pretty good without him. But the impact that Steph has on a team, I mean, that was like the best I've ever seen a season. I mean, you could argue LeBron in a few of his MVP seasons. D Rose was a good one too. Prime D Rose, a lot of people support pretty heavily. But that's where my head goes.
I was going to say Giannis's season 2 years ago, his MVP season. I mean, that man's fun to watch.
Joel Embiid is the best player in the NBA. Would you rather have Joel Embiid or anyone else in the NBA as your star on your team? And this might be a little biased because you're a Sixers fan, but
it's tough because Embiid can do it all. You know, that shot against Toronto, that step back three for the win. I mean, that's one of the craziest shots any player, regardless of position, has made.
Not better than the Kawhi one, but we'll not talk about
that. We'll let you have that one. But Steph Curry is, I think, the most intriguing player I've witnessed. And if I was to start a franchise tomorrow, I would probably choose Steph Curry.
See the screen that or the play where him and Jordan Poole ran underneath the hoop. They locked arms and like spun around and they will like catapult each other in the other direction. It was so like they're just, I feel like the Warriors are so innovative all the time. I've never seen that before in my life, but they do everything possible to get open for wide open shots or 3-pointers or mid-range, whatever. If you ever watch a Warriors game, like a lot of people follow the ball, like watch off the ball. It's so entertaining. All the things they do, the plays they run are great.
How much input do you think like Steve Kerr has on that? Or do you think it's like all the talent from all those players? Or do you think Steve Kerr draws those plays up?
I've always wondered this question about the NBA in general. I mean, how much the coaches are really, you know, drawing it up and really forcing what's going on. But I don't know, like Zach pointed out that play last night, that had to have been something they practiced and drew up. I mean, it almost seemed too perfect.
Yeah. And so it's interesting you said that, Brian, because like I was watching the Mavs game last night or 2 nights ago, whenever it was, and they were like, Jason Kidd, like not getting enough credit, doing a good job with the Mavericks. Just like their whole offense is Luka Doncic and like maybe Brunson penetrating and then kicking it out to these shooters. I'm like, Luka's just an unbelievable player. Jason Kidd with the Bucks was a horrible coach. It's like he couldn't do anything with them. And with the Nets, yeah. So it's like, I don't know what else you really, I forgot he coached the Nets, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot he even did that. I forgot
exactly. Yeah, first job.
I forgot it. So like the fact that like anyone gives him credit, I'm like, yeah, Steve Kerr, I think he's got a little bit more influence. He's got the championship experience. Jason Kidd to me is not doing anything different out there than any other coach would do. And I think you see it a lot with these guys like Mike Brown or like Ty Lue. Like they're just average coaches that have incredible teams some years. That's my opinion.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, there are some teams like that. Like the Mavs one is obviously an outlier because Luka is literally the entire team. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I just wanted to point out one MVP season. Wilt Chamberlain's 1959 to 1960 season. He averaged 37.6 points per game and 27 rebounds per game.
That's unbelievable.
27 rebounds.
How ridiculous is that?
Well, he's playing against mailmen. Like it was like no, like, I don't know.
Literally, Lucas. Who would you? I know you just kind of answered this, but it might change a little bit now. If you had Joel Embiid on your team, who would be your ideal duo, your ideal partner to Joel Embiid?
Are we talking all time, like any year and like throughout history, or right now?
Give me both.
So throughout history, I would love to see my two favorite Sixers ever, team up. Iverson and Embiid, I think that'd be pretty special to watch. But, if we're talking right now, take Curry out of it. It'd be cool to see Jason Tatum and Embiid go to work together. It'd be scary.
That AI pick is such a Philly Sixers answer. Zach, who would you want to? What's your dream Knicks duo?
Does that have to be with someone who was on the Knicks and now is outside of it?
Yep.
For future,
just in general, from all time.
I don't know. The Knicks don't really have too many players.
Well, it's literally just going to be Melo and someone else, probably.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I loved Amari Stoudemire before they got Melo.
Would you want Stoudemire and Nate Robinson?
Yeah, no, obviously no. Like if I were picking a Knicks player, like it would be Stoudemire in his prime. Get myself a solid power forward, and then I'd probably pair him with some sort of guard, like a Steph. I mean, you can't go wrong with Steph, but just a solid point guard that could score. I mean, the Knicks haven't had a good point guard in so long. Putting them together, I just feel like, I don't know, who was the point guard when Stoudemire was on the team? It was Raymond Felton. It's like no wonder why they never won anything outside of like the first round. Yeah, Jeremy Lin came along. Chris Duhon for a little bit. Like they haven't had a really solid point guard in a really long time. I think pairing someone together with Stoudemire, similar to the way they had Stoudemire and Nash, could be really impactful. And I would have loved to see that. Always having a big and a small guy as my go-to.
Yeah,
Brian, did I ever tell you my Stoudemire story?
No, let's hear it.
So I went after college on that birthright trip to Israel, and he was playing in Israel at the time.
Oh,
he was playing for Jerusalem or Tel Aviv, whoever he was playing. And we were in Tel Aviv for the day, and all of a sudden this kid in my group just sends a picture. It's him and Amari Stoudemire just chilling on the beach. This man was massive. Feet hanging over the beach chair. I mean, it was a sight to see.
What's Amari Stoudemire doing these days? I'm pretty sure I saw him on like an NBA bench.
No, you know what he's doing? He's an assistant coach for the Brooklyn Nets.
He is, right? Okay. Yeah, I thought I saw him on the bench.
Positive. Yeah. Or maybe he was last season.
He's an American Israeli professional basketball coach and former player.
Oh, good. Well, he was at least last season. The season before this past one.
So if you go on Birthright, if anybody goes on Birthright that's listening to this, maybe you'll see Amari Stoudemire coaching. Who knows?
Just chilling.
Yeah, watch out for Amari Stoudemire. All right, ready? I have a more broad question for you. Who is the most overrated athlete in all of sports?
I jump and think like of players like Derek Jeter.
No. Well, actually, I'm actually a Yankees fan, but there was a bunch of Mets fans at my old job, and we compared Derek Jeter's to Mike Piazza's stats, and they were the same thing almost. It was crazy. But besides the fact,
now, Jeter's a legend. He's a Yankees legend for sure. But I don't know. I haven't looked into the stats enough to call him like completely overrated.
James Harden on the 76ers.
Do you like Harden on the Sixers, Lucas? Obviously,
I liked him last night.
Yeah,
I liked him a lot last night. If he could play like that, we don't need him to score, 50 points every single night. You don't need him to be that.
I would hope not.
2018 James Harden. We need him to just facilitate the ball and shoot well, and he did very well last night.
So I'm letting you bank and like think about this overrated question a little bit. So is Harden intentionally playing that way? Like I haven't watched enough Sixers games because a lot of people are saying he's not performing, he's not putting up the numbers. The announcers yesterday were like, "Oh, the old Harden would have." Like I was like, "What are they talking about?" Like I feel like he's just playing the game the way that the Sixers need him to play. I think it's very intentional the way he's doing things. Sure, he's not shooting 25 shots a game, so maybe he's not, catching a rhythm. And so maybe he'll go like 2 for 11, but have 12 assists or whatever it is. What do you think?
So I went to the game on Friday, and I got lucky to sit pretty close. And up until this season, I've seen Harden on TV. I've heard about Harden, how he doesn't try on defense. And let me tell you, he seems to be trying hard on defense, offense. And I think, glimpses of the old Harden, like all that. I think he's intrigued by playing with someone like Embiid. I think he's probably never really played with someone except for KD, who's even on that level. And I think he's trying to just figure it out. And I think he's starting to realize that we want him to shoot. We want him to, be a superstar. And if him and Embiid can figure it out, I think they could have a good thing. But, you don't need him or want him taking 40 shots a game like the Houston days. I mean,
yeah, I was watching, the announcers were just like, yeah, the old Harden. I was like, when did that happen? Was it like this year that like we just think James Harden's in this completely new phase? Like, he's still talented.
Yeah, he's 3 years out of his MVP season, and he still can definitely hoop. It's just, when you're on a team with Danny Green, Tobias Harris, there's only so many shots to go around for shooters.
Yeah. And he's finding it because Danny Green had 2 big games in Philadelphia, right?
And, Tobias gets paid like he should have big games. So, there's only so many shots to go around.
Obviously, I don't think James Harden is the player that he once was, and I don't think he ever will be because, it just seems like something's changed with him. But I agree that he is doing exactly what the Sixers need. Like,
we need a point guard.
Exactly. They have that 1-2. Like, Maxey is now your number 2 scorer on the team, which is awesome that they found that out of nowhere. But I think James Harden gets a lot of hate, and I'm not even going to lie. I do give him hate too, because I don't think that he's a scorer anymore. I think he's just a point guard. I think he's a good point guard.
He played well at the end of yesterday's game. He had some nice shots.
I know he did. But also that's like once out of how many games has he played in the past?
Yeah, I guess. I just don't know. Like, I haven't watched enough games that like to say that he's not playing. Like, I feel like it's intentional what he's doing. It's like he's fine scoring 15 to 20 a game and not being a 30, 35 point scorer. And I saw that with the Nets a little bit. He deferred in some situations. And when he needed to go off, like, he still has that ability. I mean, that was earlier this season. I don't think that's gone away. Maybe he's in a little shooting slump. I don't know. But I think it's more intentional than people are making out to be, saying like the old Harden would have done this. I was appalled by the announcer saying that. I was like, this dude's still talented. He could score 30, 35 a night if he wants.
I think being on the Nets and, I'm not even coming for the Nets, gave him a bad rap because he just was injured and he just wasn't there long and just didn't seem to really click for him. And, now he, like I said, I've seen him going hard on defense where, it's not really his reputation, and seems to just be playing hard, So like you said, when did he become a new Harden?
Yeah, we'll see. I think another extremely overrated athlete right now in the NFL, in my opinion, is Zeke. I do not think that he is anywhere near what his fantasy draft likings were last year or the year before. Literally, Tony Pollard is better than him.
That's bold. That's a bold statement.
He's going to play more than Zeke this year, I think.
Okay, I was like, what's your source? Is this you saying it?
He basically split snaps last year.
Yeah,
that's the craziest part.
So you're saying stick away from Zeke on fantasy draft boards?
Oh yeah,
I can't. I don't have any evidence to support against that. So, okay, I'll be drafting Saquon.
Don't draft Saquon either.
I was going to say both situations. Any NFC East running backs? No, probably not.
Just stay away from just stay away from all NFC East players. You don't need any of them. We don't need any of them.
So Matt won our league this year, and he his whole team was basically Bengals, Rams, and like maybe one other team. It was like his whole team was three teams, but that's all you needed. Just draft the really good players on really good teams.
Lucas, how did you think the Jets did in the draft?
As a long-time Jets fan, we've heard this a lot. Oh, the Jets have had a great draft. Oh, this he's going to do what no Jets GM has ever done. And let me tell you, people ask me, and I say, until the Sixers season's over, I don't even want to talk about it. But, I'll just for the sake of the podcast, we got good players, Sauce Gardner, we'll take someone named Sauce, and no, some good defensive talent. And, we've always been known for a good defense, and, hopefully we can get back to at least having a good defense, because we've kind of let both sides of the ball fade recently. So, I'm excited to see what Zach Wilson can do. Excited to see what the defense can cook up, and what Robert Saleh can do. And the draft was a good draft.
I think both New York teams did well in the draft.
Ask me a couple weeks into the season, and then we can answer that question.
We're all fans of not good football teams. So
At least you guys have some rings, though. You know.
that's true.
I mean, I've seen the
Oh,
Dolphins.
yeah. Actually, I forgot, Zach. I forgot your.
I have never
Rooting for
seen
down
my
south.
sports team win a sports championship. The closest I've gotten, I watched the Orlando Apollos like technically win a shortened season in
Does
the
not
AAF.
count.
It doesn't count.
No, it does not count.
I was like, yeah, I'm an Apollos fan. They went 7-1, and then the season just ended because I think COVID hit or whatever it was, and I never got to see it.
Whatever. Zach, you want to talk Kentucky Derby?
I mean, I do and I don't because I'm like trying to think about it. I just thought it was incredible that this horse got added in a day before the race.
It was
Wasn't even supposed to race, and then like I didn't watch it. I told my roommates, I was like, I'm not watching the Kentucky Derby. I don't care. And then next day, all over social media, all I see is this overhead shot of all these horses, and they got the leader or like one of the favorites, and just whatever. I don't even know the horse's name. Do we remember it?
Rich
Strike.
Right strike. Rich strike. Yeah.
I mean,
Crazy.
I watched that. Like he was so far behind, and then he just
I
shot
know.
up. Like it was like watching a movie. I didn't even think
I
it
know,
was.
it was nuts.
It didn't look real.
It makes you wonder, why don't they all do that?
Yeah, right.
I don't know if it was like a technique that the jockey. I don't know how much they play into it. Like I'm assuming a good amount.
They got no grit.
No.
It was insane.
The horses got no grit. All right, I got one more question for you. It's a hypothetical. Are you ready? Wait.
Lucas, overrated athlete. Do we get one?
Oh, fire one at me.
Ah,
Joel Embiid. Done.
it's tough, man. You know, there's a lot of players out there I like to think of.
Darrell Revis.
Just name one. It doesn't need to be the most, but give me someone who you think's overrated.
Ryan
Not
Howard.
anyone, guys. I'm sorry.
Right? It's okay. It's okay. We'll pause again, do the hypothetical, and then we'll come back to it.
You know, I'm on a podcast with two sports guys. You know, anyone I say, I know if
You'll
there's
ruffle
something
some
there.
feathers.
Here we go. You're stuck on a deserted island. Give me 3 items that you need to have. And my mind directly goes towards 2 are for survival. 1 is for entertainment.
Food and water already provided.
Well, yeah. There's a nice running river, and there's coconuts and bananas. And you could find a way to get some food, but you need some items.
Probably go with a knife.
Good. I feel like that's a go-to, like a knife or a hatchet or a axe, something.
I'm there by myself, so I'd probably want a book.
A book.
You know,
One
'cause
book.
If you get a TV, then you're gonna need Wi-Fi, and then you're out of your items.
No,
you know?
makes
so
It's valid.
There's
Nice
no
book.
electricity there either. So
yeah, so you can't charge it up. And then I'd probably go with like a tent.
a tent.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Shelter,
A tent, a book, and a
hunting
knife,
tool.
and my coconuts in my river.
What a guy.
I would also go like a knife of some sort. And then I don't know what my second one would be, but I would just want a ball of some sort.
What is this? Castaway?
Keep me occupied. You know,
Yeah, coconuts.
occupied you could be with a ball. Yeah, but you can't kick a ball. You can't kick a coconut. And
fair.
then probably a tent or a surfboard. 2 for entertainment, 1 for survival. I'm dying on that island.
I would also go a knife, sure.
That's fair.
Or I'd carve myself a spear with the knife. And then let's go. I'm like looking around my room to see if I bring a guitar. How about that? Entertain
Nice.
myself.
Gonna
And then,
soothe the animals.
What else can we find around the room here that I could bring? And a pillow.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Why? Because there's one right behind me.
Yes. Yeah. Basically.
Hey,
Basically.
keep it simple.
All right, Lucas. Who's your overrated athlete? That's the last thing we got for you. Jamal Adams.
Only because I feel like if he didn't have the surrounding cast, he wouldn't have the career. Got to go with Draymond.
Okay.
I love it.
That's a
I
good
love that
selection.
take. I love that take. I have nothing bad to say about that.
The hype he gets by the media and the fact that they say like the team, what he's the heart and soul, he's this, like he plays an important role. Don't get me wrong. I don't think the Warriors are the Warriors without him, but I think I agree with you there. I think he's slightly overrated. You could say he's really overrated. That's fine.
I like that take. That's the podcast. Lucas, thanks for coming on. We
Thanks
appreciate
for having
it.
me, guys.
Podcast number 14 in the books. And you know what we say? We say makeshift to the moon, baby.
There it is.
Let's go. Thanks, guys.